Good evening, everybody. We're very happy to see a full house here this evening. We've got a lot of good material to cover, so I'd like to get started. For those of you who I have not yet met, my name is David Sung, and I am one of 63 dedicated and passionate professionals that work at Nicola Wealth Management. I always enjoy having the opportunity to introduce John and Rob and to speak directly to our audience, but I will admit that it is a challenge to distill into just a few minutes everything that I'd like to say. And we've come off a very successful year and we've got a lot to share. When I was considering what I think is most important to convey to all of you, it's that as a firm, we have garnered significant success for you, our clients, by challenging conventional wisdom. Within the financial services business, there is a lot of follow the leader between various firms. The smaller firms tend to take the larger firms' methods as the gospel, and they suggest financial planning methods and methodologies that are very traditional. We also see that the pace of change is speeding up, but despite this, many firms maintain what we see as traditional and potentially outdated financial solutions. Without a doubt, it is every advisor's goal to optimize their clients' wealth. But what we feel makes Nicola Wealth Management unique is our desire to push the industry forward and innovate on models that we feel are successful. We have never been a company content to rest on its laurels, and we have no problem challenging the status quo as times change. Whether it's through the lowering of fees, which over the past few years we have successfully done, through the use of our unique investment pools, or whether it's through the use of different planning opportunities, we thrive on constantly delivering a better product and solution to our clients. We believe we are an outlier with respect to the way we plan for and present opportunities as it relates to our clients' complicated financial situations. Although conventional wisdom would suggest that it's not usually a good idea to reinvent the wheel, we constantly challenge, dismantle, and reconstruct many different financial models. An example that I've shared with a number of you over the past few years is the Capgemini World Wealth Report. Capgemini is a global consulting firm, and for the past 14 years, they've been producing an annual what they call a World Wealth Report that looks at ultra-high net worth investors and high net worth investors and how these families allocate their wealth. Interesting to note here that the average allocation over the past few years for these families shows a 35% exposure to traditional equities. Founded in 1999 by Michael Schonenfeld, Tiger 21 is a peer-to-peer learning group of ultra-high net worth investors. It's made up mainly of entrepreneurs and business owners who have sold their businesses. On average, they have $10 million or more of investable assets. And this group shares with each other what they believe to be best in breed or best practices with respect to the management of their family's wealth. Interesting to note here that the average exposure of a Tiger 21 member is a 30% allocation to traditional equities. The traditional mainstream money manager approach would suggest that 60% of your assets should be invested in equities, 40% of your assets should be invested in bonds or fixed income, split those equities between Canadian and foreign equities, split the fixed income between Canadian and foreign bonds, and now you have a diversified portfolio. Our version of diversification looks a fair bit different. We use a much broader asset allocation, and we use non-traditional asset classes such as mortgages, real estate, alternative strategies, and private equity, asset classes that for many years have grown the wealth of high net worth and ultra high net worth investors. Of note, our allocation to traditional equities is 30%, or about half the mainstream model. Perhaps there's a theme. Over the years, our forward-looking approach has produced several services and opportunities that now appear to be gaining mainstream appeal. Let me share a few examples. As many of our clients know, we have always discussed the importance of coordinating your compensation and your incomes with how you invest your assets. For the first time, I now see one of Canada's major banks discussing with their business owner clients why making RRSP contributions may not make sense and why taking compensation in the form of dividends versus salary may be the correct approach for some of you. Their report received a lot of attention in the media, and it came out in October, just this past October 2010. Digging through our digital archives, I dug up our 13-year-old October 1997 newsletter to our clients, which discussed this very same matter. In the mainstream, the discussion on the integration of compensation with investing is just now gaining steam. Here's another example. Just 1 week ago, the National Post featured an article on a well-known established Canadian investment firm and the launch of their new hard asset pooled real estate fund. As most of you know, over 6 years ago, we launched Spire, our private hard asset real estate pool, which has its roots dated back to late 1999, when we made our first purchase of a commercial shopping center as a collective investment for all of our clients. Lastly, for some time now, we have suggested that the use of a well-structured, no-fee, donor-advised fund can be a very tax-efficient way to give charitably and to leave a lasting legacy. My colleague, Lawrence Chu, recently came across a piece from the Calgary Foundation. It shows some of Canada's major financial institutions and the fees that they charge for their donor-advised programs. Most of these programs began in 2006, with one of them beginning in 2004. In October 2003, we launched a no-fee donor-advised account for our clients as a tax-efficient way for you to support the charitable causes that meant the most to you. Now, truth be told, when I was thinking about some of this material that I was planning to present this evening, I hesitated because I had a feeling that some of what I just showed you might come off sounding a little bit boastful. Perhaps it does. We're very proud of what we work towards achieving for our clients, and I think these examples help illustrate the pioneering spirit that makes our firm a very exciting place to work, and I think it's what makes us most successful as advisors and ultimately you more successful as clients and investors. All right, so let's get on with it. Tonight's presentation. Rob Adel, our Chief Investment Officer, and John Nicola, our CEO, will present our outlook for 2011 and how these insights and factors may affect your portfolio and your financial plans. At the conclusion of the presentation, we'll have a question and answer session, and I hope most of you take the opportunity to participate. Before we begin, a few quick points. For those of you that are new, please don't feel the need to feverishly take notes. Some people have commented before that Rob and John's presentation style is like a fire hose delivering water. So in your packages that you collected on the way in, there is a slide request form. If you'd like to get a copy of the slides, feel free to fill that out. We're also videotaping this evening's presentation, and we'll make a copy of the video available on our website at a later date. So with that, if you have not done so already, now would be a great time to change your cell phones from ring to vibrate. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rob to kick off tonight's presentation. Thank you.